How did one biblical city become a haunt of jackals? It was completely destroyed, its residents were banished, and it remained desolate. We're talking about Tel Hazor in Israel. All Israel News on W&D reports the scriptures include many historical stories that continue to teach us lessons that are applicable to our lives in the 21st century. Many times the entire story occurs in one place and time. However, sometimes the story stretches over hundreds of years, with different episodes scattered around the Bible. The latter require a retrospective point of view to learn the lessons concealed within, and such a story is of the city of Hazor. We first met Hazor as a leading Canaanite kingdom, the head of all these kingdoms, Joshua 11:10, in fact. In Jeremiah 9:22, it says, "This is what the Lord says, let not the wise boast of their wisdom, or the strong boast of their strength, or the rich boast of their riches." Now, about 150 years later, we read in Judges 4 about Jabin, the king of Canaan, who reigned in Hazor and whose army commander Sisera had 900 chariots fitted with iron and had cruelly oppressed the Israelites for 20 years. Sisera's army was defeated by 10,000 warriors led by Barak, the son of Abinoam, and Deborah the prophet, and he himself was killed by Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite. In other words, Sisera was killed by a woman. Eventually, some 500 years later, we meet the fate of Hazor. Quote, "Concerning Kedar and the kingdoms of Hazor, this is what the Lord says. Hazor will become the haunt of jackals, a desolate place forever. No one will live there, no people will dwell in it." End quote. Jeremiah 49:28. Even the strongest, most fortified city, described as the head of all these kingdoms, should not boast on its strength because it will fall despite its power, if this is God's will. And what about Tel Hazor today? The excavations of Tel Hazor portray the events described in the Bible. Hazor is the largest biblical area site in Israel. It covers about 200 acres, comprising of two parts, the upper city, the Acropolis, and a larger lower city. For comparison, the second largest biblical era site, Tel Dan, covers merely 60 acres. Hazor's population in the second millennium BC, the Bronze Age or the Canaanite period, is estimated to be about 20,000, making it the largest and most important city in the entire region. Its size and strategic location on the international trade route connecting Egypt and Arabia to Mesopotamia made it the most strategically important site for controlling northern part of the land of Israel. Hazor was at its peak during the Canaanite period, prior to the conquest of the land by the Israelis. Excavations exposed the massive destruction layer dated to 1230 BC, attributed to Joshua. In Joshua 11:10 we read, "At that time Joshua turned back and captured Hazor and put its king to the sword, because Hazor had been the head of all these kingdoms. Everyone in it they put to the sword, they totally destroyed them, and he burned Hazor itself." End quote. A layer of such destruction was not found in any other Canaanite city. Joshua 11:13 says, "Yet Israel did not burn any of the cities built on their mounds, except Hazor, which Joshua burned." In Judges 4, later the Jabin dynasty appears to have recovered power and restored the city. The heavy defeat of their army at the hands of Deborah and Barak led to their final downfall. The semi-nomadic Israelite settlement in the upper city, approximately 150 years after the destruction of the Canaanite city, was replaced by a well-fortified city during the Solomonic era, the era of King Solomon, 970 to 931 BC. The city was further extended and fortified by King Ahab, Jezebel's husband, 871 to 852 BC, and Jeroboam II, 786 to 746 BC. Ahab also built an impressive water system consisting of a 150-foot deep shaft cutting through the rock and an 80-foot tunnel leading to the groundwater level. This impressive water system demonstrates the importance and the power of King Ahab and the city of Hazor at that time. Jeremiah's prophecy regarding Hazor materialized in 732 BC. During the conquest of the northern kingdom of Israel by the Assyrian king Tiglath-Pileser III, 2 Kings 15:29 reads, "In the time of Pekah, king of Israel, Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, came and took Ijon, Abel-Beth-Maachah, Janoah, Kedesh, and Hazor." The city was completely destroyed, its residents banished, and it remained desolate until today. So that's the story of it. It's still desolate today. And this is on allisrael.com and WD. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.